Fuck you, Axcavelli. That's a callback to my Philips Shift 9500 review when I said fuck you, Philips, because they just blow the fucking curve out of the water. Well, I wish this was on Amazon so I could profit from this review, but I cannot. But I'm going to tell you to buy it anyway. I have to stop listening to music now. The Monoprice Monolith Liquid Spark DAC, which is $100. It's a $100 DAC. It's a $100 DAC. I just did the Sanskrit like 4 days ago. I've reviewed. Did I do the new Mahdi? Did I do the Mahdi? There's the Atom DAC is out there. Geshelli's for like $170. It's a single-ended RCA only USB coaxial optical transformer driven, little push button selecting, no volume control at all, extremely beautiful metal case DAC that costs $100 that makes the A90, which is the top linear amp, sound better. What she's doing with the eye and the tongue, that's what this DAC is doing. It's not all great. The wire for this fucking power supply is literally garbage. In fact, it's not. Oh, is it? It's thinner than the KPH30i wire. That's thin. I mean, it's not as thin as the ones that go up here, but anyone who has KPH30i's just know that this spaghetti skinny thing is thinner than that. What actually is this? I didn't actually check. 12 volt 1 amp. So it's not like you can't replace it. I think it even has a standard connector. I'm not going to pull it out because there was an issue with this earlier today where I plugged everything in and it just keeps blinking. You see, it'll blink. If I go to USB, it blinks the little dim white LEDs. The LEDs that you, just like the Big Daddy Liquid Gold X, it's got LEDs, beautiful, like dim white LEDs, except they disappear once you're at that angle because they're recessed through the metal, which the metal case is just, as far as like build quality goes, you can't knock Monoprice for this shit. This is the best built shit. This is the better built than the Geshelli. This is better built than shit stuff. This is better built than every Stax amplifier and Energizer's ever been. It's just better built. It just is. That's why I like the Liquid Spark amp, which I'll also link in the description because that's on Amazon. So they finally came out with a matching. I don't have one to test with, like the stack. That's fine because I have a feeling that this DAC is better as far as if I had to pick, would I rather give someone the Liquid Spark amp to improve their life, the Liquid Spark DAC to improve their life? It'd probably be the DAC because there are better amps than the Liquid Spark amp. But for what this does to sound, because here's the thing, it's not perfectly linear. Just like the X8 Magic DAC, this one right here, with its FPGA and $300 and swapped op amps, isn't perfectly linear. It's why I like it. Well, this isn't perfectly linear, and that's why I like it. It's doing the exact same thing the fucking Liquid Gold is doing, where it's just making everything feel like it's covered in a half-inch of crusty butter. Just salty, crusty, creamy butter. I mean, I've used the A90 quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. And every time I pull it out, hold on, coaxial optical, I'm like impressed by how linear and perfect it is. And then I plug it into this and I'm like, is it softer? Because it's not bad. I can tell you if there's a bad DAC. If I just took like an old cell phone and plugged a 3.5mm into it, into an RCA's, into the back of this, yes, this will power your headphones better, but it'll power it with garbage in. It's garbage in, garbage out. And this is very, very, very far from garbage, yet it is not perfectly linear and accurate. I gotta take this off of low gain. Hold on. I'm gonna die in a second. This is Wardruna Rotlaust Trefel. Wait for it to loud. It actually makes my 909 sound better on the A90. It's not quite Liquid Spark X levels, but it's fucking good. Let's unplug that. How about you? What are you rocking? Oh, 4.4 Pentacon, excellent. Sigma Phoenix gotta get part of this gangbang. We're gonna gangbang the Liquid Spark DAC. It's one of the reasons I like being an audio reviewer. You get to review the thing you're reviewing. Like here, I'm reviewing this. But I want to play with this and those and that wallpaper, and the songs always change, so I'm never bored, usually. Had a rough week. Had a rough 2 weeks where I couldn't do reviews, and now it's just like, I love my job. Who cares? Fucking great. That is some chanting, violent, weird African movement stuff. Like, that's witch doctor shit right there. Oh, Dust Brothers, Raymond K. Hessel. Or Hessel Raymond K. You know, I guess I'm just giving the approval of this DAC. And, like, I'll recommend the Topping E30 over this for many applications. Hey, Zeos, I have a living room. Hey, Zeos, I have a desk that I want to be able to control the volume. If you need to be able to control the volume of your DAC to control speakers, there's nothing better right now than the Topping E30. But if you're like, hey, I just need a DAC, there it is. There it is. Shut up. Shut up. There it is. Even over like the Atom is so linear. God, like, because this is not aiming at perfectly linear and flat. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't measure like crazy off the charts, but it's definitely doing something internally that's just like, oh, that's the Alex Cavelli house sound coming out of the DAC, which in my previous years would have been absolutely unheard of. I don't want a DAC to color the sound, but we've gotten to the point now in my life, and I think all of our audiophile lives, where now we may have this amp, which is super linear, and maybe headphones that are super linear or not super linear. And we just want to throw flavors and ice cream and sprinkles and put nuts in the bottom and the hot fudge. So it's some hot fudge to our very vanilla ice cream. Well, actually, no, this is very vanilla ice cream. That's no toppings, but maybe we drizzle some syrup on it. So that's perfect. Everything's a food analogy. I'm so fucking hungry. There's nothing else to talk about. USB, coaxial, optical, RCA outs, plug, power switch. For whatever reason, you'd power switch, and that's why another reason I don't go USB a lot of the times, especially with the power switch. Never turn off your DAC. You don't need to. They don't draw much power. The only reason you do that is if you wanted another audio device to take over when you shut that off, but it would also break whatever you're playing. If you're using like a Wasapi or a ASIO, it would break it. But using fiber optic, it doesn't break anything. You turn it on, it's instant. It doesn't take like 20 seconds to wake up like the fucking liquid gold does. Fight Club, what a soundtrack. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, what a soundtrack. Ava Cassidy, not a soundtrack. Yeah, no, it brings a bit of like a Class A charm is what I'm going to say. It brings Class A charm to anything very linear and solid state. 789 running off this, perfecto. Even if it's not balanced. One of the big myths about the 789 is that you have to run it balanced. Input. You really don't. The amplifiers themselves, like this has a balanced out. Two balanced out. And no matter what I'm plugging into it, this is still a balanced headphone amplifier. The balance is working. There are two separate channel amplifiers running. They're just getting the signal from lower voltage. Because when you go XLR, that's 4 volts and versus 2 volts. And with the 789, which I'm going to have to link to, I'm going to have to pull the 789 out and test with that again because it's been a while. With the 789, at high gain, if you're running 4 volts in, it tends to be a little bit too much for it to handle. So you want to either run a middle gain or never use the high gain. Or if you have the ability to lower your volume on your balance stack, do that. Or, like I was running the Gashali Labs on the second gain, or if you run an RCA DAC, you'll never be worried about the overgain on the 789 because you're only putting 2 volts into it. Then you have full range of motion with the 789. You can go high gain and be fine. So it's not a problem with the Topping A90 because this fucking thing's a beast. But, oh. Sometimes I love my job, and sometimes it's tedious as fuck. Today is one of the days where I'm like, God damn. How do you do that for $100? And I know what'll happen. In a year, year and a half, this will be like garbage compared to something else. So either wait a year and a half, but then there's something else will be out in a year and a half. So just wait 3 years, or 4.5 years, 6 years, or 12 years, 18 years. Just die. Just go all the way to the grave and know that you have whatever you need is good right now. Don't bother. But this, probably going to go on like near the top of my recommendation for like cheap DACs. The Sanskrit's cool because it does the rotation thing, and it was clean and linear. This is not clean and linear. This is something else. And I like it. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. So I did my little thing. I talked about wires. And did we not plug these in? Because I really would feel awful if I didn't. At least for like a split second. Ava Cassidy, bro. Yeah, I'm done. Marilyn Manson, Running to the Edge of the World. Alternate version. Good DAC. Wallpaper description. Patreon subscribe star. Also description. $5 a month. See reviews early. Ask me questions on platform. Participate in the art sales. Not enough? $10 a month. Behind the scenes private Telegram chat. Ask me any questions you want. I'll answer them immediately. Are the colors off slightly on those two triangle speakers? Do I have ADD? Should I take drugs for that? Wallpaper. Patreon subscribe star. Hi-Fi Guides. Hi-Fi Guides forums. Macaroni and cheese. Rich Evans. Richard fucking Evans. That's all you got to know. All right, I'm done. I might be done for the day. I did like 5 sound demos and like 3 reviews. I'm finally catching up. God, it's been a fucking nightmare. So thank you, Alex Cavelli, for existing. Thank you, Monoprice, for sending me this. Yes. That's it. Yes.